What do I say? When I came into college as a freshman, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know I was going to end up in this creative space. And since then, I realized that there are a lot of things that I wish I knew when I came into college. As a graduated senior, I feel like there's a lot of things that I've learned along the way, and I really want to share them with you because it would have been great if someone was there for me when I started this entire process. So this is kind of how I learned and how I was able to pursue creative work with my camera in college. Freshman year, I was preoccupied with a lot of things and I didn't really pursue creative work, but it wasn't until sophomore year that I decided to try to take this a little bit more seriously. Back then, I didn't have a camera, I just had my iPhone and I had one of those twist-on lenses. And that's kind of how I made all my YouTube videos back then. And at the time, I didn't have a portfolio, so I kind of just uploaded everything I did onto my YouTube channel, which is this actual YouTube channel. That kind of served as my online portfolio. The first thing I did was to look around UCLA and talk to my friends about what kind of organizations were there and what they were intentionally trying to do. So my sophomore year, I joined two organizations. The first, which is actually in this area in Kirchhoff Hall, it's Campus Events Commission, or CEC. The reason I joined this organization is because they have a long history of hosting really important people, and they offer a lot of great free resources to collaborate with amazing artists, amazing speakers who come to do events here in college. I applied for the media relations team, which is a sub-staff of Campus Events Commission. And at that time, I was able to talk a lot with my director, Jude, who is an amazing and talented photographer. And he's really kind of been the person who helped show me the ropes about photography and just kind of pushing myself to be more creative and to be able to just take chances with opportunities. So just in that first year, I was able to work with some really awesome people like Stephen Lim from BuzzFeed. I was able to work with The Baby, Masego, Omar Apollo, all these people who I was able to meet, talk to, be able to take photos and videos for their events and just improve as a photographer. And so the amazing thing about CEC was that it's funded underneath the USAC government, which is the student body that gets annual stipends and funds from UCLA. And so basically UCLA is covering and paying for everything, your resources, the people that come here. And I think the coolest thing was that I was able to have all these big list celebrities and people that I could put on my portfolio site, and that helped me really gain a lot of credibility to be able to then email other people, other managers for other artists to be able to work with them in the future. I hurt my ankle. So that same year, I joined an organization called Sigma Eta Pi, which is an entrepreneurship fraternity. And it kind of follows into my second piece of advice, which is to surround yourself with the right people and the right environments. I think everyone's heard of that classic saying, you are the sum of the 4 people around you, 5 people around you. I'll throw the quote right here. But it is so true. I think it's one of those quotes that has stayed with me this entire time I've been in college. You can really be around amazing influences, and you can also be around very terrible ones. And so when I was a sophomore and I had all these different clubs to look at different business frats, different pre-med frats, the one that stood out to me was this entrepreneur fraternity, because these are the kind of people who are trying to pave their own path. They have this, I'm gonna do it myself kind of mentality. And I remember having conversations with some of the people in that club and just remembering having such an level of excitement, having them feel like they empathize with what I wanted to do, even though they weren't necessarily interested in photography or design. That organization also was able to kind of introduce me to what my career is now, which is product design. It's kind of a combination of creative thinking using design and also business problem solving, and kind of molding this together into a really cool discipline. And I personally think if it wasn't for this organization, I wouldn't be in the position that I am now, making videos, trying to push myself with my design. It's really been kind of an amazing group of people who've pushed me to be better at what I want to do. A little bit more within that org, I was able to take on positions like the director of marketing, the director of design. I was able to make these rush videos and really elevate our external presence and to really gain a lot of traction and understanding of what our org was. I think one of the proudest things I was able to do was to be able to have other people really know oh, I've heard of SCP, I saw that person's video. Oh, I heard of SEP. I saw these people's rush photos that one person took. And what's also really important was that as I grew in this organization, I went from a really naive sophomore to someone who's very experienced, and I'm in a position now where I really wanted to give back to the community that gave me so much to start with. Let's go! Wait, hold on. Let's go! Let's go, I'm gonna go. And the one final thing I did as a creative in college was to freelance. I'm going to be talking a lot more about my camera work than about design. I can make that for another video, but it basically leads to my third and last tip, which is really say yes to opportunities. And when I say yes to opportunities, I kind of mean like almost everything, as long as it's not something really, really uncomfortable for you. I actually didn't start freelancing until I was midway through my junior year. And I started by taking grad shoots here at UCLA, around SoCal, and I'm honestly sure at most colleges there is a ton of demand for student photographers for graduation photos. To give you kind of the numbers, my junior year, I really didn't take it seriously. I think I did like 2 or 3 shoots because it was something I was kind of uncomfortable. At that time, I was just getting into photography and trying to learn how to talk to my clients, to be able to direct people and to have people be more comfortable in poses. Even initially, I was a little bit scared away by having to do this. I was incredibly nervous. I was incredibly anxious. Simply over this last year as a senior, I was able to book so many photos. I think as a freelancer, it's really important to start a portfolio site, which at first was my YouTube, but I wanted a more professional setting. So I ended up using Squarespace. Get 15%, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not there yet. But I ended up using Squarespace as a quick way to throw all of my photos and all of my videos onto this platform, just so it's a kind of an easy one-stop shop for anyone that I send my portfolio to. So literally within the last 2 years, I was able to freelance and make videos for dance groups. I was able to go do client headshots. I was able to work with companies outside of UCLA to take photos for their clients, to take videos. A lot of that money, honestly, was just from taking passive graduation photo shoots here and there. Sent forms and stuff onto Facebook group pages. I threw ads onto my Instagram stories. And literally just through those channels, I was able to create a system and a consistent process of clients and different students who wanted my help for their photography. I think that's actually one of my biggest regrets, is that I didn't start earlier. I didn't say yes to these opportunities when I could have started. I could have been doing this for another extra 6 months, another extra year, if only I said yes to these things. And to me, I think the money is not what I care about. It's nice to have a little bit of spending on the side, but really it's about growing as a creative yourself and being able to better tell your stories and to be able to better help your clients execute on projects that they want to get done. I think in college, the one thing you learn is that if you're able to provide some kind of value to someone, then you're able to really establish a relationship much quicker than just some random person who's here to take photos for you. And so there are a ton of other tips that I would love to be giving, but I think the 3 that really matter the most is 1, join organizations. Really just find and try out things. You can always leave organizations if they don't match for you, but it's all about getting your foot in the door and really getting that start. The second is about really surrounding yourself with the right kind of people and the right environments. And finally, the last tip is to say yes to opportunities. And I think that ideology doesn't just apply for freelancing, but it applies to anything else in your life. I think being a little bit uncomfortable has always been my way of growing. I mean, if you're comfortable, you're kind of in your little bubble and you're never going to leave it. So I think photography and design has taken me to some incredible places. It's helped me meet amazing people. And I really hope that this video gives you a better insight on how you're able to tap into that as a person coming into college. So yeah, this is one of my more informative videos. If you guys like this kind of stuff, comment below. I don't know, do what you want to do. Go with the flow. Keep it together, keep it together. We're almost done. That's really it. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.